Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing why moving on attracts an ex. Email from a dumper. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Check out my socials for extra content. The links are in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing why moving on attracts an ex. Email from a dumper. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you will have heard people suggest that you should move on to get your ex back. But how on earth can this be the case? In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 2 reasons why moving on attracts an ex, and also reading you an email from a dumper about how they were reattracted to their dumpee. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is make them miss you. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you need your ex the dumper to miss you. If they don't miss you, they are not going to want to be in a relationship with you once more. This might sound kind of obvious, but we need to really understand and focus on the facts. You're a dumpee. Unfortunately, your ex the dumper lost romantic emotional attraction for you. When that level of attraction hit the necessary low point, this is when they action the breakup. What this means is that in a romantic sense, they don't miss you. If they missed you in a romantic sense, they would not have ended the relationship. If they didn't believe that they could move forward and feel happiness and fulfillment in a romantic way without you, they wouldn't have done it. So right now, your ex the dumper doesn't miss you in a romantic sense. They might miss you in other ways. They might miss you in a platonic way, for instance, and that is why some dumpers try to friend zone their dumpees, because there are elements that they miss. Even if your ex the dumper didn't try to friend zone you, there are likely to be many things that they still miss about you, but that is not enough. As a dumpee, if you want to try to get your ex back, you need your dumper to miss you romantically. And we need to regrow that level of romantic emotional attraction that they feel in their mindset and their heart for you. So we need to do whatever we can to increase the chance of your ex the dumper missing you. Now, it doesn't just go from 0 to 60. It doesn't just go from your ex the dumper ending your relationship to them missing you deeply and wholeheartedly. There is going to be often a slow and steady increase in this potential missing you. At first it would be wonder, then thinking about you, then wondering and thinking and starting to get to the point of where, do I actually miss them? That is how we can see slowly but surely your ex the dumper getting to that point where they've regrown enough romantic emotional attraction for them to want to reach out to you. At that stage, you then enter the communication phase, and that is a whole new ball game, but you can't get your ex back until you get to that communication stage. So that is the first step, and often the most challenging in a dumpee's mind. Now, it's my belief that the communication stage is actually probably just as hard, if not harder, to navigate, but we want to take one step at a time, and initially, this is about trying to get your ex the dumper to miss you, to reach out to you. So now we understand that, we have to say, okay, right, we need the dumper to miss us. We're the dumpee. I need my ex to think about me, wonder about me, miss me. How can I get them into that mindset? How can I get my dumper to start going down that path, going on that journey to missing me? Well, this is where the whole concept of moving on attracts an ex. Now, those of you who have listened to my podcast will know that I actually prefer the term moving forward. I prefer the term moving forward because I believe there is a subtle difference. I think if you move forward, you're focusing on your own life, your own goals, your own self-improvement, achieving things, but you leave that door open for your ex the dumper to potentially one day reach out to you. I believe that if we say we're moving on, we're actually closing the door, locking it, and throwing away the key. Now, that might be, for instance, you blocking your ex or whatnot. I don't believe in anything like that. that's why I prefer the term moving forward rather than moving on. But I appreciate most people use the term moving on, so that is what we will be saying in today's podcast about why moving on attracts an ex. I believe that you need to be focusing on you because we need your expert dumper to miss you, and they can't miss you if you're always in their life. And this is where it all links together. You as a dumpy need to go on your own journey. You need to go on your own path. You need to go through self-improvement. You need to make new connections. You need to make sure you are not in your expert dumper's orbit. If you are contacting your ex, if you're spending time with your ex for unnecessary reasons, if you are trying to hang around your ex as a way of reconnecting with them, that is very unlikely to help your cause. If anything, it's going to annoy your ex. Let's not forget, at the time of a breakup, they felt a very low level of romantic emotional attraction for you. They are not feeling the level of desire that they need to. They don't miss you. And if you keep spending time with them, how can they miss you? You can only miss something that is no longer in your life. Your expert dumper can only miss you if you are not in their life right now. So if you keep texting them, if you keep calling them, if you knock on their door, if you wait outside where they work, if you try to create situations where you accidentally on purpose bump into them every single week, do you really think that your expert dumper can miss you? Well, of course they can't. They can't miss you because they know deep down in their heart that you are there as their safety net. They know that you're always there. They know that you love them. You know, that is something that dumpies sometimes fail to understand. They try to say to themselves, right, I need to show my dumper that I love them. Now, most of the time, most dumpers know their dumpy loves them. Most dumpers know the pain and anguish that the breakup has caused, and they're not happy about it. They didn't want to hurt you. They know that you love them. Now, there might be a very small minority of dumpies who, due to their own behaviour, didn't showcase the love to the dumper. Maybe that was why they were dumped. Now, that would be a very rare situation where it got to the point of where we needed a different strategy. If you feel that you might fall into that category, contact me via email, and maybe audio coaching could be something which could help you, because that would be a very specific, unique circumstance. But most of you dumpies, you don't have to worry about that because your expert dumper knows you love them. Your expert dumper knows that you didn't want the relationship to end. Your expert dumper knows that you will always be there for them, especially if you keep chasing them. And this is why we need to try and alter things a little bit. We need to make them feel a little bit less secure in their thoughts that you will always be there. And you do that by living your life to the full, focusing on yourself, not your ex, making sure you make those new connections by moving on your own path and deciding that you're no longer going to chase your ex. You're not going to text them, call them, knock on their door, wait outside where they work, accidentally on purpose bump into them. You're not going to do that. You're just going to be focusing on you and living your best life. Because if you don't do that, they can't miss you. They can't miss you if you're always there. But if you focus on you, if you do your own thing, then absolutely there is a chance that your ex could miss you. And that is one of the reasons why moving on attracts an ex. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please like this video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And point number 2 is take the right action. So when you've been dumped, you have a lot of adrenaline. Most dumpies will feel that adrenaline that they need to do something. They need to take action. I want to do something right now. I want to fix this. How can I solve this puzzle? Tell me what to do. A, B, C. I will follow this. I will do everything you tell me. But if they are told to focus on themselves, that is where a lot of dumpies get confused. No, I want to take action. I want to contact my ex and tell them how we are great together. Tell them how I've changed. Tell them how we should never have broken up. But unfortunately, that is the wrong action. You need to be making sure you take the right action. Now, this is where, once again, things can get confusing. You as a dumpy might hear people say, you need to make change. You need to take action. Yes, that is true, but the action you need to take needs to be the correct action, the right action, and that action is on yourself, focusing on you. Remember what we said in point number 1, living your life to the full, going through self-improvement, joining new classes, groups and clubs, becoming more talented, becoming more interesting by improving your general knowledge. Sometimes dumpies say, well, I don't know what to learn. I'm not academic. I don't want to, or I can't learn new things. Well, listen, you can certainly become more interesting just by learning more and new popular culture. You could be someone who wins the pub quiz. You could be someone who just knows a lot about a certain subject that you are interested in. We don't all have to become scientists. We don't all have to pass our maths exam. We don't have to become top of a leaderboard in certain elements. All we have to do is improve ourselves in different ways, becoming a better person than our ex-badumper remembered. That is the right action. Improvement every single day, learning to be someone who wants to move forward, strive to move forward, achieving goals. That is what you want to be. Someone who is ambitious is very, very attractive to other people, including your ex. So live your life the right way. Do your own thing, but make sure that you're always moving on the right track. That is the right action. The wrong action is doing what we said in point number 1. The wrong action is the feeling of I've got all of this adrenaline around me, flowing through my veins. I need to do something now. Let me call my ex. If they don't answer, I will leave an answer phone message. I will leave a voicemail. I will tell them what I feel and I want to express myself so I can get them back. Look, that is not likely to help you. Now, I'm really big on talk therapy. I'm someone who believes that talking is very important, but talking to the right people, okay? You can't be trying to persuade someone to take you back. They need to come to their own conclusion themselves. When I suggest that you should be talking to people, this should be somebody who has got nothing to do with your ex. Certainly not your ex, and also not people connected to them, i.e. mutual friends. It should either be friends or family who don't connect with your ex. It should be a local doctor or counsellor. It could be myself if you want to speak with me one-on-one via my audio coaching service. What I would say is that if you have any feelings about trying to convince your ex-badumper that you should never have split up, convincing them, persuading them, doing whatever you are starting to concoct in your mind is a good idea, I would say, listen, you might try this. You might be very, very lucky, but if you are and if you do, you would be in about 1%. Because I've been doing this job for many, many years. And unfortunately, those dumpies who go on that path have an incredibly low chance of success. And I cannot suggest that you do this. I do not suggest that you use that adrenaline, that thought of I need to take action by trying to get your ex, whether it's on the phone or in person, via text, and trying to persuade them to be in your life again. Because if you try that, it's not likely to work. If anything, it's going to make them run off further. Remember, at this moment in time, they don't miss you. At this moment in time, they don't feel enough romantic emotional attraction. If you try to force the issue, this is going to annoy them, upset them, maybe even scare them. They're not likely to want to be with you. They are more likely to run away further, potentially block you, maybe even contact the authorities. So please don't take that action. Instead, please take the right action. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. Go to my website, www.dateme.tips, for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast, about why moving on attracts an ex, email from a dumper, and point number 3 is the dumper email. So you've listened through today's podcast, you've heard my thoughts and feelings about what I believe moving on, or shall I say moving forward, can attract an ex. But now I wanted to share with you a dumper email. So here is an email that was sent to me by a dumper, and I've actually decided to have it read out via a text-to-speech app so that this podcast has a little bit more flavour for your ears rather than me just reading it out myself. Now, it's important that you realise, and you will understand quite quickly, as you hear that the dumper gave me permission to have this read out, and that is why I'm sharing it with you. So please enjoy this email, let me know in the YouTube comments what you think, and I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast.
Hey Vincent, I have listened to your podcasts for a while and felt compelled to share a story that took an unexpected turn, all thanks to social media. If you think it could help people, you can read this in a podcast. Almost a year ago, I ended a relationship that had meant a lot to me. Although I believed the breakup was necessary for my personal growth, it wasn't what he wanted at all, which made the decision incredibly tough. We parted ways with heavy hearts, striving to maintain respect and kindness despite the pain. As time passed, I occasionally caught glimpses of his life through social media. Initially, I was tentative about engaging, knowing the breakup hadn't been mutual. However, I couldn't ignore the remarkable transformation he was undergoing. He picked up new hobbies, often shared adventures with new friends, and even launched a blog discussing his journey of self-improvement. His posts radiated positivity, and it was inspiring to see him not just moving on, but doing great. I decided to reach out to compliment his blog and express how inspiring I found his journey. That single message sparked a reconnection that I never saw coming. We started exchanging messages, sharing life updates, and rediscovering each other in a new light. It was clear we had both changed significantly. He, healing from our breakup and embracing new experiences, and I, realizing that the growth I sought was intertwined with understanding and accepting these changes. Our conversations grew deeper and more reflective. We shared our feelings honestly and listened to each other with a newfound respect and understanding. After many meaningful discussions, we realized there might still be something beautiful worth exploring between us. We've decided to start seeing each other again, taking things slowly, with a fresh perspective on our relationship and a deeper appreciation of each other's individual paths and boundaries. It's amazing how social media played a crucial role in rekindling our relationship. This experience is a testament to the power of personal growth and how sometimes the end isn't really the end, but a new beginning. Please share my story if it could help others.